G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daystro, the Aussie Geek, and today we are looking at the Matrix Bearer, the Age of the Primes, Prima Prime, which does not go well off the tip of the tongue. Honestly, it took me a while to get used to that name. Anyway, so this is Prima Prime. He does technically show up in G1, Season 3, Episode 2, I think it is, when Rodimus goes into the Matrix to discover the truth about the Matrix, and Prima was basically the first Prime that rebelled against the Quintessons and basically got dumped into a vat of hot metal. However, more recently, he is, of course, one of the 13 that defended Cybertron or Primus against Unicron, which, of course, we know that that went a bit wrong when it came to Megatronus. And, of course, we have seen in, I don't know, can you still call Transformers 1 recent? Was it 12 months, year and a half or something? Which has a completely different look. There is upgrade kits for that. I'm not going to do that. Honestly, I also wish this guy had been blue, but I think the grey is more his God colors than his actual G1 color. Although I will say that the head is, when it's focused, good God, come on. There you go. His head is much more reminiscent of the G1 cartoon, in my opinion. Wrong colors, like I said, but the head does fit better, which is one of the things with the upgrade kits that you can get, gives him more of the Transformers 1 look. And as I have him standing here, basically he is doing what I call the Conan the Destroyer pose. Good old two swords held, ready to just absolutely bring the damage. And yeah, he does look pretty cool. I think he looks bland. I honestly think he does look a bit bland. These colors more suit Megatron, but like I said, I think this is more his more modern interpretation of colors than he is the colors of the G1 cartoon, which I think were blue and sort of yellow-orange or something like that. But yeah, he still looks good. Admittedly, I don't think Prima, the original interpretation of Prima was the Matrix Bearer. He just was the first Autobot that rebelled. So yeah, he does look pretty good. The transformation, it took me a little bit to get used to. But yeah, all things considered, not too bad. Now, of course, the sword is designed for one hand, so doing them like I did, of course, he's not actually holding onto the handle. We can articulate his arms a little bit to get him in more of a standard pose. His feet are a bit weird to me. Like, honestly, his thighs point that way, even though his leg's going that way, so it's weird to stand. As for the accessories, here comes with this lovely sword, which can be segmented. You can separate the blade and the handle, which I think actually came that way. You can take the matrix off. So if you wanted to, you could backlight that and you'd have some nice blue. I don't know if you could, you'd have to scrape the paint out of there, but I suppose you could make this light up somehow if you knew how to do that sort of thing. He can actually hold the matrix in his chest, although this is a little bit fiddly first time to get out. So there is his matrix chamber, and then of course we just figure out which way the matrix is supposed to go. And that plugs in, if I can get it in there. If I can get it in there. Or have I got it upside down? I don't think my matrix fits. I've not actually done this. I haven't had a reason to do this. I think my matrix... Yeah, I'm actually scuffing paint. Is it? Oh, that's why my matrix was back to front. Good God. There we go. So yes, he can wield his matrix. Although, I haven't really scuffed the paint or anything. And then, of course, you just got to get your fingers in there to get it back out again. Also, in this mode, you can lift up his shoulder pieces, which they are more for articulation. But if you want, you can have that different look. As for the sword, you do have these ports back here. So without actually having to put it all back together again, you can sort of half He-Man in it if you really wanted to. So there is that, and we'll put the sword off and the matrix off to the side for now. Actually, what we'll do is we'll put the matrix in here. Oh, no, we'll leave it out so I can put it back together. All right, so articulation. Head can do a full 360. It can look way up. It can look a little bit down. It is a ball joint, so you can do a bit side to side. Arms can do a full 360. If you get that shoulder up, you can get that high. You can probably, yeah, it doesn't really get much further, but at least you can actually make it look decent. You do have technically lower bicep there. Whoops. Try there. I've got my wrist the wrong way around. You do have over 90 degrees of elbow bend, and you also have another port there. You have wrist rotation. You do have typewriter fingers. There's a pin here, nothing at the rest of them. So if you really wanted to, you could try to sort of balance that. Thumb is weird because it looks like he's got two thumbs, or it's just the way it's sitting. You do have, I was going to say, there is waist rotation, I think. There actually might not be. Is it upper? Yeah, it's hip rotation more than waist rotation, because it's down here, not up here. You may need to get those side skirts out of the way, which, as you can see, can lift up. There's nothing here. So legs go up that far. Legs go back that far until you hit backpack. But of course, if you angle it right, you can get it a bit further. You get it out that far. You have hip rotation. So there's a ball joint in here and a mushroom peg. So there's that. So it's not here. Knee bend gets you that far. And there's a locking mechanism here when it goes up, but not really when it goes down. Angle tilt. Try that again. Ankle tilt. A little bit toe up, no real down. As for other 5mm ports, we have these two. Obviously, the fists. I suppose if you want to count those. You do have the sides of the shoulders. I think I mentioned that before, but I'll do it again just in case. So here, here, and I think that's it for robot mode. So I guess we'll see how we go with alt mode. So I have found the transformation a teeny tiny bit wonky. See if I can remember how to do this. So we want to pull this back. It does have, I'm trying to figure out, there's a peg here that goes in the chest. Hopefully I'll show that a little bit better in a minute. So we just need all this back. We do need to fold these hands in, which I've almost forgot. So flip all that out. I think we want to, I'm trying to remember how this works. That goes further back, which is great. That folds in there. We'll just put it in at the moment. It's not going to close back up. Do the same on the other side. So flip that open and just fold that in for now. I'm just trying to remember which way that goes. All right, so there is there? Yeah, I think there is. No, I don't think there is. So you've got to rotate this around, right? And those wheels may get a little stuck. And then what we want to do is roll these out, rotate those out. You have, where is it? I think is it on his forehead? No, I think it's on the back of the head. So you got a little tab in here that should sit in the back of his head. His neck is a little stiff, so just present him best you can. You shouldn't have to worry too much about anything scraping. All right, so trying to remember how this works. It's more me trying to remember how these arms situate. So it's rotate here. So we have this at the top, because this is going to go under here, and we'll do the same on this side. So rotate that this away. We are going to bring it back, because we need to get basically this into here. All right, so this is going to come back, and I'm trying to figure out where things tab in and whatnot. I actually think I might need to get forward. Is it forward? No, it's got to come back. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where the things sit. Oh, actually, no. Do we? Yeah, that's got to, yeah. Must have to be able to go further forward than I'm thinking it does. Oh, yeah, there is. I thought there was a joint there. So this comes down. This should go forward. All right, I'm drawing a blank on myself. I had all this worked out, and now I can't remember it. So I think that's actually used for getting the wheels in place. Just trying to remember. So I'm sure that goes into that groove. Is it? Because those wheels are going to stay facing down, otherwise they don't go anywhere. What a great video, don't you think? Unless that's got to go backwards. No. Oh, what is it? That's got to go there. That's got to go there, because these are going to basically sit like this. So that's going to come down and tap into here. I'm just trying to remember where how it sits on top of here. Trying to remember how it tabs in. The funny thing is, I do have the instructions next to me. So that, yeah, that's right. It doesn't actually have to sit over top of it. That's right. I did this, I transformed this last night, and then I've forgotten how it works. All right, so you don't want to actually, basically that's your stopper. So that goes into the groove back here. It doesn't lock in or anything. It just sort of sits there. Right, now I know what I'm doing to myself. All right, so this is where things get a little bit wonky. So you have, where is it? This port here has to go onto this tab. So you basically have to bring this in. The fist is going to go under. I don't think I've got that actually as far forward as I really should. So that's going to come under here, and you're sort of going to push on it. It's not going to go too far, and it's not going to go very far in, but it's just going to sort of sit there. All right. So we can bring this out, because I should have brought that out already. All right. Actually, you know what? I think I'm wrong. There's two tabs here. So that's going to have to go under the inside of the arm. Do the same on the other side. I knew I was forgetting something. I knew it. All right, like that. And same on the other side. We find that groove. They just, oops, sort of sits there. Like I said, it doesn't really tab. It's sort of friction. All right, so then what we want to do before we do these pieces, we're going to bring this down, and it's going to tab into these two parts. So providing things are where they're supposed to be, they come down, give it a squeeze. I have to squeeze a bit more afterwards, like so, and the arms are probably going to shift around on you a little bit. They'll sit better once those legs are where they're supposed to be. It's just really weird angles. Then we can bring these in. They just sit on the side like so. And to my knowledge, they don't really tab anywhere. They just sort of sit there. All right, so back legs. Now this is a little bit wonky, and I don't mind it too much, but I just realized I think... No, I'll be all right. I was going to say I think I needed to actually flip the waist around, but I didn't need to. So you need to get these out to just over the side. Then you can bring the foot in, and you have this tab that I think goes into there, sort of, kinda. Do the same on the other side. They can be a little wonky to get out the first time. Bring that in. You can tab those together. So here and here. Then you are going to bring out, bring around, and you have this little piece here that's going to go into here. And it just sort of sits there. So the hard part is you got to flip this without flipping this. So just be careful. Oops, I'm untabbing things. There we go. And around. That tabs in there. Then you want to bend the whole thing over. At the knees, obviously. You may have to fold these a little bit. And then you want... Try to figure out the best way to show this. These... I don't really think I've got a real good spot. This is awkward. But basically you have little gaps under here. You can probably just make them out. So here, that's where they're going to tab into, providing those hands are out of the way. So bend until you're flat. Make sure you get past his thighs. Whoops. They should have been compressed. They're all the way around, and that's the other tabbing point. You have these tabs here that are going to go into those back of the hand grooves. So once they tab in, pretty much everything's roughly where it's supposed to be. And then you can squeeze things a little bit if you need to, just to make sure things line up where they're supposed to go. So there we go. And I don't think we've got really anywhere else anything's got to tab into. And there is Prima in his alt mode. I don't know, it seems weird having the whoops. Get in there. Funny thing is, you tab it in and it tabs real secure, and then you can't get it back out again. Now I'm tapping other things. Get back on there. Trust me, it's not half a bad figure. It is just can be a little fiddly, a little bit. All right, I need to stop touching things. I'll be right then. That's in. That's in. That's in. That's in. All right. So yeah, it does feel weird having this sort of vehicle for the first Prime's alt mode. Like I said, the height of the wheels, you don't have to worry about his face getting chipped or anything. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like a scout vehicle, maybe an ATV or something. ATV, APC. But yeah, it's an interesting look. Admittedly, technically, if you go by G1 itself, the original Autobots were for commercial use, not for military use. That's what the Decepticons for. But of course, if you go into the mythology of Primus and that, then take your guess. But even if you go into that, technically Amalgamus was the first one to create T-Cogs. So in theory of that, then I suppose Amalgamus should have been the only one that transformed. But that's neither here nor there. You can't have a Transformer line without actual transforming alt modes. Now, you can store this stuff. Obviously, you put the Matrix in his chest. You can take his sword. There is a little port in here. You can plug that into there and try not to unplug everything. And then you can take the handle, and you have these two ports. you can just plug that into there. I suppose I was just going to say you could probably leave the matrix on there if you want to. I'm just going to turn it around so it's a little bit flatter. So yeah, you do have weapon storage, but that's going by the instructions, and I don't really like that because that handle feels like it's scraping. Yeah, that's where it tells me to put it, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So we're going to unplug that and we're going to put that back. All right, let's do one size comparison because I need to do two for this. Not that it's going to make too much difference. There he is with Windblade. So she's a little bit longer. Also, if anyone's curious, I have 5 of the 13. And the fact that from everything I've heard, the 13th is basically Star Convoy. I'm only going to have 12, although I may end up having 2 Alpha Trions. I'm trying to get the older one that came with the young Orion packs. Now, he does have an alt mode in this mode, which I admit I didn't notice till I was checking the instructions for anything I was not aware of. But basically, he has a hover mode. So what you do is you flip out the tires and you bring them in a little bit. Flip out the tires, bring them in a little bit. I think that sort of tabs in somewhere else there. And then you flip down the front tires. And there he is in his hover mode, although that doesn't quite sit very well unless you can find something to put under there, I suppose. There you go. You can use the sword for an alternative purpose. And once again, just because we're doing it in a different alt mode, there's him with Windblade. All right, so let's get him back into robot mode. And it's all pretty simple. Realistically, I'm just going to fold his wheels back because I'm just going to need them out of the way for the moment. So we're going to bend here and things will easily untab. Beg my pardon. We're going to flip his knees out all the way. And as I said, you've got that sort of lock point, which just feels really weird. We're going to split his legs, which can be a little bit awkward. They feel more like sliders than tabs, but yeah, it is what it is. So we bring out his toe, and honestly, that reminds me of something else, but I can't place what it is. And I think it actually holds, yeah, it holds this piece better, not this piece. So you bring it in, and you bring it down, fold it a little bit, and that tabs in the back. Bring down the foot, bring that in and down, and make sure that tabs in. So that's the legs all done. Straighten it up a little bit. So there we go. We can at least get him standing. And we'll lift the camera up a little bit. All right, we're going to bring these shoulders out. And we're going to get these arms undone, which is pretty damn simple, honestly. We're going to flip this up. Mine hasn't tabbed in too well this time, but never mind. We are going to bring the backpack back all the way. Now, I will do this how you're supposed to, that I forgot. But basically, you're supposed to go crack, sort of rotate, but I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I suppose the idea is you do it that way. You lift it up and crack it or something, but I don't know. I just find it easier that if you can get that backpack a little bit lower, you need to get his head up first. We need to get those tires back. And that will sort of lock into place. Bring those wheels around and then just rotate it. As long as the wheels aren't getting too much in the way of things, you're pretty right. All right, so then we need to get the arms where they're supposed to go. So stretched out like I had them, though I shouldn't have. You have these 2 ports that once again go into the back here. So bring that down and just slide that into their little grooves. Make sure they're nice and straight and press. I'm assuming that back also presses in somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure where. And of course we have really skinny arms, so we compact our shoulders. And then we figure out where our bicep is, which is technically around this way, We fold our arm out, we bend our arm back and around, and that goes where it's supposed to go. Bring that out, bring the hand out, rotate it all the way around, flip it around, and there is Prima back in his robot mode. So there we go. And of course, then you can put his sword together the way it was. Put that way, so at least I can have the matrix at the front. Make sure I'm putting it the right way around this time. Like so. Like I said, you can store it on him. I suppose you could try to figure out some way to actually have it so he's holding the matrix. That is one thing Hasbro has yet to get perfect, is having their bots hold the matrix. I think my MP22, which I never showed, actually had hands with grip with gaps in them so that they could hold MP10's matrix. Even MP10 has trouble holding the matrix when it's not in his chest cavity. So there we go. All right, final size comparison. I just noticed my MP10's gun was going to fall out, so I thought I'd better fix it. So there's MP10 there, and there is Prima. And that's not half bad. I don't know why my arm's that way. That's not half a bad size. Like, all right. You tell me, if you don't agree that all the 13 should have been leader size. The only two I disagree with that is that Solus should have been a Voyager, and that Onyx and oh crap, I'm trying to think what the combined one was, but basically the oh god, this is gonna drive me nuts. I admit I had to Google it. I think that Onyx and Nexus Prime should have been commanders. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll take that back. I think Nexus should have been a Titan. I think he should have been a Titan. But yeah, I do think they should have all been leader class figures, including Prima here, who he's a Voyager. I think he's a Voyager. Prime, Major Prime, that don't help. Having a look at the box. I don't even think it says it on the box. But yeah, I think he's a Voyager. But yeah, honestly, yeah, I think they all should have been leader class figures, except for Solus, who should have been a Voyager. Yes, Megatronus is big, but I would like to think that he's the same size as Vector Prime and Primer and all that. I think that Nexus should have either been a commander or at least possibly a Titan, and Onyx should have been a commander at least, considering how big he is. But that's neither here nor there, so can't really do much about it. But I do have, like I said, I have 5 of them. I have Primer here. I have Megatronus. I have Solus. I have Vector. And I have Alchemist Prime. Also, if I forget to mention it, in the Vector Prime, I was going to get the upgrade kit for him, but I think they would have just thrown off his size when it came to the other ones. So I left it where it is. So there we go. So if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment, and unfocus apparently. Apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.